What's going on, guys? This is episode 2 of the You Heard Now You Seen podcast,
Yeah.
man. Today, man, got a special guest. We're gonna be talking about high school recruiting. Kind of, diving into each of our stories. And again, Pop's gonna kind of be more of the host rather than the co-host today. So let's get started. TJ, you can go first and introduce yourself, and we'll
Man,
go from
my
there.
name is TJ Sheffield. I'm from Spring Hill, Tennessee. I'm going on my 6th year. I just committed to University of UConn. I'll be up there in about 2 weeks. Um, that's about it, man. I'm gonna get more specific as we get into it.
So you just like me. You're a grad transfer. Talk about your kind of where you went to school first, and then the portal as well, as far as offers and stuff like that.
All right, so you talking about like from high school or just all
Yes,
right?
sir.
I went to Independence High School, man. Spent all my years there, 4 years under Coach Scott Blade. He actually coaches at Lipscomb now. Uh, Man, I definitely love being under him, man. He had some guys before at Independence High School to go to the league, and of course, he's been in contact with many college coaches before me, just because guys before me, like my brother, guys like Vic Wharton, Rashawn Golden, guys out of Tennessee that are big names. I feel like, man, out of high school. I feel like I definitely looked up to my older brother. He was a senior when I was a freshman, so I watched them win a state championship, go 15-0, break all the records in Tennessee, and it was just a crazy experience. So I was definitely one to fill those shoes of my older brother, I guess I could say, and do the same. But man, any other questions though? Any other questions?
Well, hey, it's to be a freshman and play with your senior brother.
Yeah.
That must have been special.
No, it
And
was pretty special, man. We always
yeah,
we always
that's
up
a
every
rare
day. You know what I'm
situation.
saying? Yeah.
No doubt.
Okay, yeah. Tell us a little bit about the nuts and bolts of how it came about. How did TJ Sheffield become the major Division I prospect? Yeah.
Man, like I said, my brother was a senior. He was D1 and had many offers. So I wanted to fill his shoes right after he graduated. My sophomore year, that was my first time starting in high school, and after my, I believe, second game my high school year, it was it was on and popping after
On
that.
and popping.
I got pretty comfortable in the game and stuff on varsity, so I started bringing in more offers and stuff towards the end of the season. My first offer was, I believe, Tennessee,
Okay.
and I
Well,
got Vandy a little bit after that, and I had them for a while, and then after my junior mid to late like junior year, I just started getting like many like offers like back to back, just like that kind of blew up a little bit. And
wow, that's good. That's real good.
Why not Tennessee, man? You're close to home, or Vanderbilt. Why not Vanderbilt? Because I know you were smart enough because you got the offer in the first place. I know you had the grades to go there. Why not
yeah,
Vanderbilt, Tennessee?
man, my sophomore year, I committed to Tennessee under Butch Jones, and then
Mm,
there was a big coaching change after that, and then after that, I decommitted just to. I kind of like I guess I made up my mind that I kind of after that I kind of wanted to be somewhere completely different. You know what I'm saying, away from home, just to see what I'm saying, what's out there. I always been in Tennessee all my life, so I kind of wanted to branch out and just make my own path for myself. I guess I could say like something like that.
No doubt, no doubt. How many offers total did you have before you ended up?
I believe I had 23 plus offers out of high school.
so you also committed, I think, later. When I started taking note, you were committed to Notre Dame at one point,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I did commit to Notre Dame at one point. under Coach Kelly and Jay Alexander, wide receivers coach, man. Uh, and then I remember like it was yesterday. I feel like I just committed. You know what I'm saying? It was great. Great experience. They were turning about it and all, and then like a week or two later, I just got a call. You know what I'm saying? My wide receivers coach just let me know like that they didn't have a spot for me, and that was definitely devastating. You know what I'm saying? As a junior in high school, thinking that was gonna be my home or whatever, but I definitely was. I feel like I grew up a little bit and realized like, okay, how this like college football thing is really. It's not really like everybody dreams. You know what I'm saying? To go to college football and stuff. I know I did, but it's definitely a business out here. So
Yeah.
you gotta. I
Yeah,
feel
no
like if
doubt.
you're, you know what I'm saying, um, in high school, you definitely gotta protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know what I'm saying, under you know what I'm saying, whatever your belief is, with
Yeah,
your
no doubt.
family and stuff like that. But
I think, yeah, to kind of hit on that, man. I think, like you said, like as a kid growing up, dreaming and play college football, it is kind of a, you know, big stage spotlight. Like there's
yeah,
nothing really wrong, nothing negative about it. You know what I mean, or whatever. But it definitely is a business, and that's kind of something we want to hit on and later in this show, man, and just talk about that side of it and some of the things that high school athletes can do to prepare for that, as well as you know just get a recruited in general. But yeah, so I'm gonna kind of switch gears a little bit and kind of tell the guys a little bit about myself. Obviously my name is Abdurrahman Yassin. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Played at Wall Lake Western High School. You know, 4 year varsity. Didn't start my first year. Was rotating in. Got a lot of playing time freshman year, but still was a 4 year letter winner. Ran track as well a little bit, mostly indoor. What else? I'm trying to think. Had about 28, 30 offers out of high school. Was a 4-star recruit on all three of the main, scouting websites: Rivals 247, ESPN 300. Was 4-star on all those. Had a 247 4-star composite, stuff like that. Um, was 3-time All State, blue chip recruit, all this sweet stuff.
it's the herd.
And then ended up committing to Northwestern my junior year, and kind of had a falling off season a little bit, and then kind of flipped to Purdue right before signing day. It was literally the weekend before signing day. I went and pitched up, man. He kind of
Swooped him up.
Oh yeah,
said
He
so.
swooped him up, man. Right
Purdue, man,
before.
played there 4 years, got hurt, had some adversity, stuff like that, and obviously jumped in the portal this past winter, and now I'm at South Florida right now. So that's kind of my story a little bit, but yeah. So
Well, I got a question for you guys, man. I want to know a little bit about the day to day when you guys were in high school, maybe even before that. How you became this Division 1 athlete, and
yeah.
how it came to a point where people started, because there was a time I know up there, man, he was, I'm putting all this work in, and I'm not getting the offers, and da, 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 da,
Oh
and
yeah.
then the next day, because he got 4 offers the next day.
yeah,
But I mean, yeah, tell me a little bit about how it was coming up for you guys, man, and before you actually became a prize recruit and so forth.
Oh yeah, man. But before I started playing ball or anything, you know what I'm saying, I was on that track. AAU,
Okay.
ever since I was maybe, I think I was fourth grade, maybe. Like ever since
Hmm.
like fourth grade, after, well, I think it was the summer of my fourth grade year or something like that, man. I was on that track going to all kinds of meets, AAU meets, every other weekend, every weekend, man. Then after I think 2 years after that, my dad created a track club in Williamson County. It was called Wings of Skill. So he ran that for a few years, and I remember when I was younger, me and my brothers and sisters, we all ran in the track club. So we hosted some meets too. So we was setting up all kinds of like tents and stuff like that, and setting up for the events and making sure the measurements was right, man, and all of that. So before that, I was just running track, man. I feel like that's what got me, you know what I'm saying, just comfortable and competitive just to play other sports too. So,
You
Right.
started football a little bit later, huh?
yep, I ran track
Yeah.
before I even started ball. I started,
Okay. Okay.
We
I
played
think,
receiver, you know, the receiver position. Talk to the young guys and the parents watching. How important is running track to you or for
man,
you for your career?
I feel like maybe I mean track and other sports like just don't be just one minded. You know what I'm saying? Don't have you know what I'm saying? Have more tools in your toolbox. You wanna just get better at many other sports just to help you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like track just definitely catapulted me uh, into football and just helping running mechanics. You know, like even when I was in high school and college, you know, guys always just say stuff about how I run because I ran track all my life, so
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
I feel like I got proper like running form type thing, I guess you could say. So
Right.
Well, that's definitely good. It does to carry over. That's good stuff.
yes, sir.
Definitely the 100, the 60-meter indoor. You got the now. You was a 400 guy too,
Oh
a
yeah,
little
man. That
bit.
400, man.
400, man, because a lot of kids, especially like I can admit to this as well. I didn't never run the 400, never, because
Hey,
it's hard. Like, you know
my
what I'm
dad
saying?
loves it, man. He loves it for He always say you gotta have intestinal fortitude to run that race, man.
That's a
You gotta
grown
be
man's race. That's a
yeah,
grown
grown
man's race
man's
right
race for sure. I remember being in the blocks in Louisiana at the Junior Olympics, man.
there.
Just
Wow.
lane and the track. I remember the track had 9 lanes, man. I'm in the ninth lane on the 400. It was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Great experience though. It definitely helped me get to where I'm at though, for sure.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
in terms of like developing that strength, you know, to be a receiver, because receiver you run a lot. You know what I
Mm.
mean? You're always running. You got to be able to run routes to the end of the game, to the fourth quarter, you know, overtime, whatever it is.
Oh
You
yeah.
got to run routes the same and have that conditioning, that strength. How much of that is contributed to you running the 400 meter, or you know, how like does that kind of impact your ability to be a receiver?
I think the 400 is definitely a man's race, like you said. I feel like it makes other like running and stuff like that, like sprints maybe after practice and stuff like that. It makes it feel it just makes you feel like at least it's not the 400. You know what I'm saying? So you're going you're going to finish it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Right.
I ain't ran the
Right.
400 in a long time, so I'm definitely just like flashbacks right now at this talk about it. But
Right.
No
man,
doubt. No
I think
doubt.
it's a good race to run to definitely get you conditioned for anything. I feel like.
Anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, looking back
Absolutely.
on it, I mean, I did 400 meters in practice. Never really did it, in a race competitively. But no, it definitely, like, for me, like, whatever area you weak at in your body, you gonna feel it. You know what I'm saying? You need to go a
For
core
sure.
strength, you gonna feel it in your stomach, man, or you gonna feel it in your chin, the hammies. You gonna feel it like that's how I looked at it. You know what I mean? I didn't really, but it'll definitely tell you something, about your body for sure. Like you said, it
Hey, they said the 400-meter dash puts hair on your chest, man. You know what I'm saying?
Really though.
Yeah.
I believe it, but really, I mean, it's something about the mindset. Like when you do a 400 meter, it makes the other races easier. You know what I mean? And it definitely does that. But and I think that's something that a lot of kids coming up should at least practice it. You know what I mean? And because when you get to college, the condition is harder. You know what I mean? We're going in college. We had this Purdue last year we had a Baltimore Ravens conditioning test, man, and we did like 150s. We did like 6 of them. We had to do them in 27.99 seconds and
Yeah.
with 45 seconds in between. You know what I mean? So the conditioning is harder in college than it is in high school. So talk about, you know, did track help you with college conditioning? Let's put it like that.
I feel like it did. Just not just running. I mean, at track, man, it really teaches you how to breathe while you're running too. Because a lot of guys they be running. You know what I'm saying? When you get exhausted, you know what I'm saying? You get that lactic acid build up. You don't want to maybe hold your form as you know what I'm saying tight as you want to, but it really helps you with things like that, just simple things like that. You know what I'm saying? Just arm swing. You know what I'm saying? That makes a big difference in your running mechanics and being able to, I guess, not get as fatigued as fast.
Right. So the bottom line is, parents, kids, athletes you're watching, you need to run track, mandatory. Or if you're not playing basketball, especially you need to run track or play other sports. The bottom, at the very least.
Yeah, I think that's important, and people talk about it a lot now. Back in my day, we used to play sports every season, whatever it was, basketball in the winter, football in the
Yeah,
fall, baseball, track in the summer, and a lot of times, as my kids started coming up, it became more of a specialization, and but I think specializing is good to a certain extent, but I would still say if you're going to play, if you want to specialize, you want to do 7-on-7 in the off season in high school. Couple that with track as well, because 7-on-7 is usually on the weekends. You know what I'm saying? So you can keep your skills set up, but continue to keep using different muscles, using different doing different drills than you're accustomed to. And I think it will make you a better football player in the end. Would you guys agree with that or not?
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
In those days, man, we used to.
Don't just do football season. You definitely got to be doing something else to get yourself
Right.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
I didn't play basketball like that. I just never really liked it. But
like every year. You know what I'm saying? Guys get drafted. We just watched the draft. They was talking about some of the old linemen even doing wrestling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah.
commenting on other sports that they did in the past or maybe even did both in college.
Yeah. Matter of fact, the man's quarterback down there in South Florida is a two-sport guy. One of his quarterbacks plays on the baseball team.
Yeah,
It's could be beneficial. It could be
yeah.
beneficial. Yeah.
definitely.
And, Mr. Berman, when did you know, man, you were going to be a dude in the college recruiting world? And how did you get to that point, basically?
Well, for me, when did I really know? I mean, I think I didn't. I wasn't like really gifted with a lot of like natural athleticism and stuff like that. I kind of had to build everything I had. But when I kind of know was fortunate about my situation is I grew up and I had two older brothers, right? So when they were introducing the football kind of late, just that's just the way it happened. I was kind of ahead of the game in that regard. So from a skill standpoint, you know what I mean. I kind of picked up things that were like kind of early for my age. You know what I mean, and just me, I guess, kind of how I was. You know, I don't know where it comes from, but just
Mm.
having the details, you know, of the game in terms of the receiver position, and being able to learn that in middle school or at an early age. How to stick a route, how to get out of a break, how to use your body to create separation and stuff like that, and how to like manipulate routes and sell routes one way and then break it off and do something else. But that's something that I kind of had at a young age, and also just going against people that were older than me, because I remember obviously my brother played corner, so I went against him a lot. He used to jam me up, man. He used to, what I'm saying, jam me up, man.
Yeah.
you know, we
Brotherly love right there. So
Hey,
we
TJ, one time we were in front of my mother-in-law's house, and I was a quarterback, right? And his older brother was playing corner, and the other one was playing safety. So he ran like a go route, and then I hit him right in the hole, right? And those boys, both of them, just smashed that little boy
man, man.
right in front.
Hey, get you
I'll never
tough.
forget
Get you
that,
tough
man.
a little bit.
Yeah, they didn't lighten up on him, man. I'm telling you.
well, man, and then just stuff like that, and then obviously my oldest brother, he played quarterback, so he was on the way out of high school before I even got into high school, so he was throwing me like hard passes in the upstairs
You was
attic. We upstairs, we like 5 yards away. He just throwing bullets at me. You know what I'm saying? And I had to learn how to catch, otherwise I
yeah,
was
It hurt,
standing
huh?
got
trying to
to.
and, you know what I'm saying? Like, remember I was up there crying a few times and all kinds of stuff, man. So I think for me, you know, having all that and then obviously getting into high school and being in eighth, ninth grade, going against some of my older brother's teammates and stuff like that in the off season is really what kind of helped me. Like,
It's
yeah,
killing.
I can really do this. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
that type of thing.
Oftentimes, the younger one kind of picks up and learns the lessons of the older ones, from the older ones and so
No
forth.
doubt, no doubt. But I
Yeah,
can't say that I did this myself though. You know what I mean? They know, the impact that they made and all of it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Just like
right. But I'm sure TJ, your older brother, you learned some things from him. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, all the time, man. I was definitely always trying to, every time he was going to the field or I'm right behind him, teach me how, how'd you do that on Friday night? How did you, stick your, or whatever, or whatever.
Yeah.
I was always asking something, man.
yeah, no doubt.
Well, what I've understood and what I saw with the kids growing up, a lot of times, you know, they don't necessarily always have that motivation to get up and do things. And I'm sure and everybody's not at that level, 100% of the time and so forth. How much of an influence did your parents have in your development, man?
Man, my parents, they was there at every step of the way. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my dad made a track club, so he was
Uh-huh.
literally my coach at a young age, and was always wanting us to be at our best. You know what I'm saying? Because he always knew what we could do. You know what I'm saying? If we was not doing the reps so good, you know what I'm saying, just trying to cool it or whatever, you know what I'm saying, I would always say, you know what I'm saying, I wanted to be good or be better than everyone or win. To do that, you know what I'm saying, you gotta work a certain way and have a certain like mindset to when you go into things, even though you might not want to all the time. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
There was a sign billboard on the way here tonight. Actually, I was telling my son, it said, "Dreamers need believers," and I definitely was one of the early believers in this dreamer here.
oh yeah.
Talk a
Yeah,
little bit about that.
definitely,
So,
definitely.
man.
I mean, for me, man, like you said, and I kind of watched, Amon-Ra St. Brown, his pops, and how invested he is, and it kind of reminded me of, my situation. Three brothers that play ball. My oldest two brothers play ball. Pops is looked at and by the rest of the football community as he kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? He got his son everywhere and always getting that work in. So I think you definitely need people, in your corner and people. And I was fortunate to have a father that not only was invested in me, but he never really, you know, he didn't like tell me I was the best thing since sliced bread. You know what I'm saying? It was always critiquing something. You know what I mean? And that's what you need, especially as a young guy. You don't get it sometimes. Like, man, this dude always saying I need to work on something, man.
Yeah,
But that's the reality of it, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
because
have to
you gotta have that type mentality. I
yeah,
remember after every Friday night game, you know what I'm saying, that film up. Me and my dad right downstairs
Right
on the
there.
laptop.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
and
You
a lot
could
of
have cut
times,
it back right here. Why you ain't? You gotta have an open vision. You can't. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
yeah,
just
and a
like
lot of
all
times
kind
the
of.
film with my dad was worse than with the coach.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not worried about what the coach saying. I'm worried about going home and watching it with Pop. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like you know,
Yeah.
'cause sometimes it'll get aggressive. Like Pop's yelling. I'm like, what you mean? Like trying, and all my siblings like, man, y'all crazy. Like because they don't get it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you gotta have somebody in your corner like that that's not going to sugarcoat anything and tell you what you need to improve on. And because when you get, obviously when you're in high school and when you get to college, especially, you're not really going to have those people. Like your coach is going to, obviously tell you what you need to improve on, but only to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Like, because at a certain point they're going to be like, well, he's just not athletic enough, or he's just not,
Or
he doesn't have the skill. He
he
doesn't
don't
have the
got it.
skill. And,
Yeah.
a lot of these coaches, you know what I mean? They think that some things are God given, you know what I'm saying, and you can't develop them. You know what I'm saying? So you can develop anything you want to develop. Let's put it like that.
Including speed. Including
Absolutely.
speed.
You can
You can
develop
develop
whatever
speed.
you want.
That's a big misnomer. And I'm telling speed can be trained and can be developed. You can get faster.
Exactly.
There's
Now,
no doubt.
what would have happened if you didn't run track since you was in fourth grade? Right. You probably, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts, facts. Um,
It might have been a different story, right?
I believe
Yeah.
it. That is
Yeah.
facts.
Nah.
But a lot of coaches, I mean, they to a certain degree, it's like, well, he just doesn't he don't got the skill set for this specific, because there's different calibers of receiver. There's big guys that go up and get the ball, jump ball guys. There's deep threats. There's route runners. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
if you're missing one of those, they just gonna be like, well, he don't got it. We got to recruit somebody that has it.
Pretty much.
Instead of, staying after practice and catching 100 balls over this specific area and improving that skill. You know what I'm saying? That's the point I'm trying to make is they don't have the time that your parent would necessarily have, or the person that's invested in you, the
Yeah.
believer, like we talked about, to invest in you to help you improve that flaw or weaknesses, whatever you have.
Before you even get to that
Yeah.
stage type thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to
Proactive.
watch and here in Detroit, I used to watch the Detroit Pistons a lot when they went through their championship run in the early 2000s, and I would follow one in particular uh, that was every year. Richard Hamilton was his name, Rip Hamilton. Every year he added something to his game in the offseason. I noticed that. I mean,
Right.
first of all, I said, well, Rip can't shoot the mid range. And then, of course, he came back next year shooting that mid range, or his handle's not good. And the next year, he would come back with the handle. And then he added a 3 pointer. I mean, that's what I think is important. And those things, I don't think coaches are good. Like you said, they're not going to they don't they have a whole group of receivers, and then they got to go out and recruit constantly over the receiver. They don't have the time to put in with you like that. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
that's the thing that I personally miss as a parent. Because I know the value of that daily, because you can get immediate feedback right away and so forth. But the coaches are great. It's just that I think there's a certain place for a parent that they come in and want to really see his child succeed, not just in football but anything though. Nobody's gonna be more invested like that. But
Nobody. And that's
let's
the
see.
important piece of getting recruited, man.
Yeah,
Piece of
heavy.
recruiting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
Them
definitely.
camps every weekend, man.
Oh yeah, camp seven on
Going
sevens.
all over the
Uh,
country, doing
oh
one
yeah,
on ones and drills and stuff like that, trying to
absolutely,
get seen.
absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, that's true. That's true. So if you guys let's talk about this. I mean, we've talked about a few things already. Let's. What would you think, or what would you say, TJ, is like the secret of success? If somebody would say, "Look, well, tell me how to do it. What do I need to do? What are the secrets?"
Man, I feel like you definitely gotta, I'm saying, like we talked about, you definitely got to play more than one sport. I mean, that
Mm.
it's not that's not always the case. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys that just play ball, but I feel like if you want to get better and get your skills up a little bit, type thing, definitely should do things like track. I mean, basketball, other sports, wrestling, anything helps. I feel like, and of course, you like when you get to high school and things like that. Uh, I feel like you definitely got to get your face seen out on camps, exposure camps, and stuff like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Me, I didn't do 7-on-7. I was just one of those guys that didn't do 7-on-7 because I always had track and stuff like that. But you definitely got to do something, man.
No doubt. No
Like
doubt.
I feel like my dad had a big part in my recruiting and my brothers. He also used to get in contact with college coaches, through email and stuff like that. Even
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's uh, I mean, I feel like definitely a big part plays. You know what I'm saying, on the field. You definitely got to perform on the field too. You know what I'm saying, to show so that you can do it. You know what I'm saying, on film and stuff like that. But you gotta definitely put in that work. I remember being up
Yeah.
at 6 a.m., you know what I'm saying, before school, me and my brother going to the lifts, you know what I'm saying, the football team lifting,
Mm-hmm.
things like that, always on the field, you know. People might be going to, I mean, I remember in high school, people going to parties and doing this, doing that, you know what I'm saying. I wasn't really one of them guys. You're going to see me at school, during school hours, on the field.
Doing
That's
your
about
thing.
it, for real.
No doubt.
Okay. What'd you think of there, man? The secret of success, man, for these
Mm.
young athletes.
Man, I feel like for me, I think a lot of it had to do with you, because you had the the experience with my two older brothers, because from day one it was just different. You know what I'm saying? I was obviously playing with older people, right? And then picking a high school, that was committed because a lot of schools in Detroit, which is the reason why I went to Wall Lake Western. A lot of schools in the city don't really throw the ball like that. You know what I mean? And how can
Mm-hmm.
you be a receiver? You're not getting the ball. How you not catching the football? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Yeah.
that was a crucial thing was going to Wall Lake, you know, with Coach Donovan Dooley, Coach Z, Coach Weiskopf out there. They're
They were
throwing the
throwing the ball. They were
ball.
throwing that pill.
Throwing the ball. We had Johnny Tracy my freshman year. Cody White went to Michigan State. He's in the league now. You know what I'm saying? We got Cam Ford. We had like two All-State dudes, that ended up playing college. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, just picking that high school from the jump was crucial to the success. And then obviously, you know, developing routines. You know what I mean? I had a routine where, before school I used to get up and, foam roll, stretch out, do some, call it body mechanic stuff and, help movement you know, to make sure that you're not getting hurt, stuff like that. And catching a lot of footballs in the house, in the living room, literally just catching footballs, catching tennis balls, doing all kinds of stuff and developing a routine. And, over time, it just adds up. So I think that's an important piece. And I also think, what's kind of prevalent now is the media side of it in terms of getting recruited and getting the stars and the offers you want because of the impact of social media is making and how it's being used, to get your name out there and stuff like that. I think that's a critical piece, because my dad used to take me to camps and 7-on-7 and all these visits and stuff like that. And we used to record. He used to record me going up against dudes that were 4 stars before I had any offers. Dudes that
Yep.
were going
Same
5 stars,
thing, man. Same thing, man.
6 stars. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We used to use these videos and make clips and then send them out to coaches. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So I think what's changed about that now is I think parents need to kind of market their kids now, increase followers, increase, their content on their sons, on their kids, to kind of, because there's a branding involved, and then obviously you have NIL now, so it's a little bit different. So we kind of got into a little bit of that, but I think for the guys that are watching, for the kids that are watching, for the parents that are watching, you have to take that next step in terms of whether it's you personally recording off your phone or camera, or hiring a guy to do that. You know what I mean? Everything, whatever you can, because that's the nature of the game now. It's a lot of it's publicity. A lot of the high school athletes, you can do the same thing they can do, but they have more publicity, and people know who they are. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And
No.
you know who you are, you can't get an offer, stuff like that, or that type of thing, or you don't get an invite to this camp or this
yeah.
activity, or this, whatever it may be. But yeah, so we kind of touched on a little bit of that as I was coming up, but like I said, I think the main thing was just having a routine for me, and just having a person there that always told me what I need to improve to be an all around player. You know what I mean? And so you need to have somebody like that.
Anything you guys would have done differently, you know, looking back now?
I mean, nah. I feel like you know what I'm saying. Everything happens for a reason. Obviously,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad I went through each little ebb and flow of what I'm saying, my recruiting process, even in my
Right.
life. You know what I'm saying too. So I feel like it definitely, what I'm saying, just gives you more knowledge for the future, for real. Better ways to prepare yourself so something that happened might not happen again, or things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No
But
doubt.
man,
Now, I think for me, I would say probably take track serious and start earlier. You know,
hmm
that 400, man, telling you,
that's it. The
telling
400,
you that 400,
no doubt,
man. Yeah. That's right.
and because I think a lot of the injuries that I had, could have been from not being in shape, or not being strong enough, because I used to work out so much. I used to do so much, training and stuff like that, and whether it was footwork, weightlifting, track, 7-on-7, you know what I mean, and I don't know if I was ever really, in shape to do all that. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely would say run track earlier, and become an actual sprinter, learn how to actually run, and get fluid in that, and doing that. I mean, then the other thing was, obviously you're a kid, but probably, just I feel like I took it serious, man. But there's always stuff that you think you could have done when you were younger, but probably just be more, strict on the routine. Probably, take the diet a little more serious, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, that's all I have for you guys. Anybody, you have anything, different, man? TJ?
man.
Any
I
parting?
appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all having me on here, man.
Yeah.
Definitely a good experience, man. Definitely a good experience, man.
Oh man, we're gonna have you on again too,
Oh
man.
yeah,
We're gonna have you on here again.
I'm
Yeah.
down.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. This is episode 2. You know, didn't go too long. We're just over 35 minutes right now. So obviously, there's so much more to talk about in terms of high school recruiting. We want to get some local high school coaches on, probably eventually in the future. To kind of explain that, and kind of get more in detail about what you guys should be doing, what you should be doing as parents, stuff like that. But man, I appreciate you guys for listening. If you haven't, go check out the first episode. We talk with an NFL draft pick.
Sanusi
Oh
Kane. That's
yes,
right.
loose.
got picked up by the Ravens in the 7th round. So
We may have to call him back. We may have to get him back on here now
we
that
probably
he's
do
an NFL guy.
that. He's not a Purdue Boilermaker anymore. He's a Baltimore Raven now. So
Oh yeah,
yeah. So,
Newski.
yeah,
That's
so
right.
definitely, man, go check that video out, man. We're gonna be continuing dropping more gems, man. Stay tuned.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Oh yeah,
Appreciate you guys. All
love.
right now. All right. Peace.